Hello, I'm Steph from iDriver Classic, and each time I work on Speedy, I feel myself growing a little bit more in love with this car. I'm really enjoying it. It's something a wee bit different. I've always been a Morris girl, as many of you will know, and so everything's always come kind of natural, and I've always known what to do. So there's been a lot of learning, and there's also been a lot of learning on that engine. So we're doing a few bits in the background. So I wanted to show you the engine today, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to do a bit of good housekeeping, and we're going to see what's going on with the brakes, because we know that we want to replace the brake lines, which we're not going to do today, but we just need to check the condition of the cylinders, of the drums, of the shoes, everything that's going on, right? Because there's no point doing all of that to find out that I'm then going to need all of this as well. Now, somebody did call me the other day on the phone, and I didn't get to take notes because they were speaking really quickly, but I think the front brakes are shared with a Ford 100E, and I think the rear brakes are shared with a Ford Escort, like a Mark 1. But anyway, I don't know if that's true or not, and I'm rambling. So just in today's video, I'm going to show you all of it. We're going to discover it together, and we're going to see how bad it is. Most things have surprised me in a good way, although we did start tackling the floor the other day before work, and I thought, thank goodness somebody welds here, because that would be one heck of a bill. But, you know, all of this is a big discovery together. So let's push on, let's see what's going on with these brakes and move one step closer to getting an MOT. Okay, so I'll make you all laugh. Paul and I had a little laugh off camera when we saw this, because we thought, oh, that'll be fine to fix. But anyway, Paul said, oh, that'll be the worst. And I said, what if it's the best? Anyway, there's a lot going on here. So let me show you. I've just propped a torch up inside. But if you can see here, now I knew that Steve said that there was one side that had lost the linings on the shoes. I didn't really know what to expect. For some reason, I thought the lining was going to be inside the drum. Anyway, it's lost it up here. It's also lost it down here. But more concerningly than that, because that would be an easy thing to change, is there's a bit of something leaking as well. And if you can see here, look, it's lost its little dust cap on the cylinder. So they're going to need looking at. You can get your shoes relined, that's not a problem. Probably turn that around in a few days. Need to sort the cylinders. I have got the parts numbers for these, so it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. But the thing that really saves this for me, and I think this is not as bad as it could be, is if you look inside this drum here, I mean, look, you can see all the fluid. Geez, what is, it must be brake fluid. So again, I'm going to have a look at that. Does it smell like? Yeah, it does actually. But if you can see inside, look, it's not scored, it's just a bit grotty. So a good clean up with a bit of elbow grease and determination will bring that drum back fine. So I'm not going to need to worry about that. So that's good. So realistically, although it looks very grim when we first look inside here and you think, that's not great when you're going to leave for the NEC in 8 days' time, it's not that bad. This is fixable. But this is also, and I'm not going to get on my high horse about it, the reason why you should always come and have a good old look at everything on a regular basis. Because when we were braking, as we drove it into the workshop when it first arrived, it was never on a public road, of course, this was not apparent. None of this was apparent. And that is why it's so important that when you have a classic like this, that you are regularly checking everything, because things like this can just bubble up and you've got no idea that they're coming until it's too late. So anyway, that's like some sort of Aesop's fable tale, isn't it, of brakes and old cars. But it's fine. Everything's fixable. This is not the worst thing, is it? So should we go and have a look at the other three, see what we're facing, and then together we'll make a little bit of a game plan about what we do next. Right, things are looking a lot more rosy when we get to the back, because this all looks relatively new. So come in and have a look. I'm going to show you. So if you see all of this, look, we've still got all the lining. They're dry. There's no leaks. Tested this, so did a very light braking manoeuvre just to see if this would open up, and it's fine. It's a little weeny bit sticky, but I'm not worried about that. So I might just take that off and clean that up. So everything round here looks fine. So that's good. Oh, do you want to have a look at something, by the way? Do you remember I was talking about that cracked spring when we looked underneath? That is just there, so you can see that there. But good news is that the springs, I got a call from Jones Springs earlier today. My springs are ready to be shipped. So, you know what? there's a little bit of bad news, but there's also good, because everything is slowly coming together. And I am an optimist about this sort of thing, because I think, well, it'll be fine. So, okay, so 1 out of 2 is horrendous. We can cope with that. Shall we do moment of truth and go and have a look around the other side? We're on to the third corner, and things are looking decidedly rosier than where we first started, which is always a good thing. So I think if you see it getting worse and worse as you go through, it just drags you down. Anyway, I'm going to show you what's going on. First of all, it's good because it's dry. Now this tells me, of course, that we haven't got any leaks like we did on the first side. Now if you look around here, you'll see that there's plenty of lining left in those shoes. Could do with a bit of a clean up, but really not bad at all. Again, we've done the little braking test just to check that these cylinders are opening, they're operating correctly. All of that is completely as we would hope for, so that's really good. Now inside the drums, no, all right. There's a slight little bit of scoring there, but nothing major. And really, I think with a jolly good clean, they'll come right, they'll be all right. So all in all, we've had 2 that look all right and 1 that looks decidedly dreadful, which is kind of what I was prepped for. Now, the one thing I am going to say is we're talking about relining those shoes on that side. We're probably going to do it on this side as well. And the reason for that is because if you're going to do it, you might as well do it across the axle. It's just one of those things that, I don't know, some people don't think you need to do it, but it's kind of a good housekeeping tip if you can do it and you're not on a super budget. Because as I always say, things like the boot lid on this, I can ignore for a couple of months or however long. Brakes and tyres and things that bring you to a stop and safety critical items are the things that I will be spending the money on. That's where my concentration is on this one. And of course, those holes in the floor that I showed you earlier. But yeah, I don't think things are too bad. And I think that's the thing. You've just got to keep at it, positive attitude. 1 corner left. What do you think we're going to find? We're down to the last corner and there is something. There is something. Look, when you first look at it, just come and have a look. See what I mean. When you first look at it, you're like, yeah, that looks all right, because you're looking at these, they look dry. We did the little braking test. These all open up. All of these are fine. All of these little caps are fine. However, inside here, and it's so difficult to show you because you have to look right down. It took me a while. Let me try and get a torch in and see if I can show you at home. Can you see? No, the light is too harsh. You know what? You're just going to have to take my word for it at home. Look, there's a lot of like grease and oil and stuff in there. And it's too late tonight to have a look. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to mark this in the box. Blimey, that needs a look tomorrow. And we're going to have a look at it and we're going to work out what is going on. Overall, I don't think it's the end of the world from what we've seen tonight. We know those brakes on the front corner need sorting. We know these back ones back over here are fine. They're fine up there. So really, bit of TLC here, massive overhaul at the front up there. And job will be a good one. It's really not that bad. We want to replace all the pipes as well. Not really because they're massively concerning, but because remember, brakes are just, well, without brakes, I'm just going to be rolling into the back of somebody, probably at quite some speed. So it's really important to get all this right. I think we should be all right for the NEC still. I'm still a little bit like on edge about it, and I'll be honest, last couple of nights I haven't slept too well because I keep waking up and thinking about it. But I'm going to put a brave face on, I'm going to put a smiley face on and say I'm going to have a jolly good crack at getting it done. I've got so much support at work, so I'm very privileged like that, and I will put my hands up and say I know that I'm very lucky like that. But I want to show people that you can do stuff like this. This is a job that you could do at home. This isn't something that you need a garage for. Yeah, let's go and find those bits. We'll sort those brakes, get them relined, and yeah, we'll crack on with the engine as well tomorrow. A lot to do, but you know, there are cars having far more done to them that are planning to be at the NEC. So I think, well, put my big girl pants on, stop moaning and just crack on. Now that's it from me today. We talked through what on earth is going on here. We've talked through the game plan and we're going to get things sorted, because remember, all old cars by and large are fixable. They are easy, simple machines and anyone can have a good go. And I think that that's the greatest thing about them. And that's the most positive note I can end on, because I am a little bit worried. But anyway, let's put a smiley face on. That's it from me today. We'll see you next time. But until then, take care and drive safely.